Happy Valentine's Day! Oh, are you single on Valentine's Day? Me too. But don't worry, because today I'm talking with Alexis Meads, who's a lifestyle and wellness coach with a strong emphasis on self-love. She teaches women how to create mind-blowing relationships, an amazing body, and lead a super fun life. Stay tuned for some great tips on how to survive Valentine's Day as a single woman, like me. Well, thank you so much for joining us, Alexis. Why don't we start by just having you tell us a little bit more about yourself. How did you get into the self-love coaching practice?
Sure. So thank you so much for having me. As you mentioned, I'm Alexis Meads, and I'm a self-love coach and the founder of Crazy Wild Love. So this is all based on self-love, but has an emphasis on relationships, on body image, on just living a meaningful, fulfilling life. And I originally got into this work because, like so many other women in their 20s, when I got out of college, I didn't know what I wanted. And I was trying so many different things to be happy and be fulfilled. And yet I was 20 pounds overweight. I was binge eating and binge drinking. I had some really unhealthy relationship patterns, and I hated my job. And I couldn't figure out what was that missing piece, like what I needed to feel fulfilled and excited about my life again. And it wasn't until my mid-20s when I started to make some major changes and really started to make some big shifts, improving my life, that I was finally able to look back and realize that that was the missing link, that it was not having this inner self-love and inner self-acceptance that was keeping me from being happy and keeping me from making these changes I wanted to see in my life.
Okay, could you just elaborate on what you actually describe as self-love?
Sure. So I like to describe self-love in two different ways because there's so many ways that you can talk about self-love. But self-love defined is an appreciation for oneself that grows through action. And I really like to have that grows through action part because a lot of women will come to me and say, okay, well, how do I just start to love myself? And I realize that's not as easy as just snapping your fingers and having me say, to start practicing self-love. We're not islands. We have relationships. We have jobs. We have all these different responsibilities and pieces of our lives. So it really grows when you start taking action. And you kind of know when you've reached that state when you no longer need external validation. And that's not to say like you don't want it or you can't appreciate a compliment. I mean, everyone likes, get a compliment or receive a promotion or whatever it is, but you no longer feel like you need these things anymore to feel that value and that self-worth.
Yeah, that totally makes sense. So you mentioned you had some shifts in your own life. Do you care talking a little bit about that?
I'm sorry, what was that?
You said that some shifts happen in your own life that led you to realize like self-love is what's missing. Could you talk a little bit more about that?
About what happened?
Yeah.
I think when I first realized, when I sort of had one of the bigger down points and changing points in my life was in my mid-20s when I was in a really unhealthy relationship. I had just finished graduate school at Harvard, and I thought I was getting all these pieces of my life together. And yet I never felt more like things were falling apart and I had no idea what I wanted. So I made, at the time, this huge change and moved to Hawaii by myself with one suitcase, knowing no one, and worked for 4 months. And it was during this time, and of course you don't need to make this kind of move to make these changes, but it was during this time that I really started working on myself. I finally learned what I like to do for fun, how to start eating healthier. I stopped drinking as much. I learned how to say no to others and create those boundaries. I started dancing every day and meditating and just doing things for myself that really kind of built that foundation and built me up enough that I was able to finally take a leap from there and be strong enough to really create the life that I wanted.
That sounds really awesome, Hawaii. Okay, so let's shift gears a little bit and let's talk about Valentine's Day, because Valentine's Day is today. So I'm sure in your own practice and coaching, you see women having different reactions to Valentine's Day. I know a lot of friends that either get really lonely and sad about it, and then other people just kind of bash it and say it's a Hallmark holiday. They don't really care about it. Do you see this in your practice?
Yeah, I definitely see this, especially among some of my single women clients. I have a couple clients who are in their 20s and single. And as much as we might feel really great about where we're at, it's hard, it's hard when holidays come up and it's hard when Valentine's Day comes up. And even if we feel like we have a lot of self-love and we're working on ourselves and we're generally happy, I'm not discounting that this can be hard. And I was there for so many years. And, I just had someone actually email me the other day saying that she's dating and she's having so much fun and she really loves her life and feels good about herself. But she was telling me that, she just can't help feeling on holidays and with Valentine's Day coming up, or even when she sees a man just opening a car door for his wife or something, that these thoughts that she doesn't really want to come up are just there. And, I want to let you know that I'm not discounting that. When you desire to be in a relationship, if that's not what you have, it can be hard, but that's okay because that's what really fuels change.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it totally makes sense. So maybe let's talk about self-love and how it plays into Valentine's Day. What would you say the first step is for a single woman to use self-love in her own days? Like, so the Valentine's Day is not like sad or, lonely or bad.
Yeah. I would say it's just to have gratitude, especially on Valentine's Day, just to have gratitude for everything in your life. I mean, even if you don't have that relationship, maybe right now that you want, there's so many other sources of love in our lives, of support that we have, whether it's our friends or family or coworker, and just to feel really grateful for that. And as much as I'm happy where I'm at now and I'm engaged right now, but I had so many Valentine's Day where I was single and I wouldn't trade those in for anything because they were memories that I'll never get back. I went out with my friends and those are really special times in your life. And it's just to really be grateful for where you are right now and realizing that everything happens in perfect timing. And wherever you're at the moment is exactly where you're meant to be.
That totally makes sense. It's very uplifting too. So do you have any tips for single women that want to survive Valentine's Day? If you have any, maybe 3 or 4 or something like that, so we can just lay it out.
Sure. Well, one of the things I like to talk about is core desired feelings. And this is actually a concept that comes from Danielle LaPorte's Desire Map. But when you think about, have you read that?
I haven't read it, but I have that book. It's on my list.
Well, it's a great theory because if you think about it too in terms of relationships, so many of us make a list for what we want, what our ideal person looks like. And rather, instead of looking at these qualities, you look for the feelings that you want from a relationship. So whether that's to feel passionate or to feel nurtured or supported or comfortable or safe, or whatever these desired feelings are that you want from a partner and want from a relationship, to realize, especially on Valentine's Day, if you're not in that relationship, that you can take these feelings and you have to really think about that for yourself, like what these feelings are for you. They're going to be different for everyone. But take these feelings and realize that there's so many other ways to create those feelings. So if it's that you really want to feel loved, think about tangible ways, especially on Valentine's Day, that you can make yourself feel really loved. Maybe it's buying yourself flowers, or maybe it's taking a long, nice bath and putting on some music and just being by yourself. Maybe that makes you feel really nurtured and cared for. Or if it's passion and excitement, maybe you make a plan to go out with your girlfriends or do something new around your city that you don't normally do and get really dressed up and just have fun. So whatever these feelings are for you, and I work a lot with my clients on these, and it can be for your life as well, but we'll just talk about it with relationships here, is to realize that there are tangible ways that you can create that in your own life and to really look for your support network, right? We all have this love support network around us that we usually kind of overlook and use them, reach out to them, maybe make someone else feel really loved or maybe make someone else feel really cared for that you usually forget about. So this is a great way just to get that little extra boost on Valentine's Day.
Sounds really, really good. So hypothetical question.
Sure.
Not hypothetical, but so say all of your girlfriends have boyfriends now and you are the only girl that is single and Valentine's Day is here. And like you said, good way would be to just like go out with your girlfriends or something. But what if all your friends are already doing something with your, so what could you do alone to spend Valentine's Day without, you know, just eating a bunch of chocolate?
There's a bunch of things. I think that comes back to your core desired feelings. You know, it's once again, how can you make yourself feel that way? And sometimes, I mean, I still will go out to eat by myself or go out to have a drink by myself and feel proud of that, you know, rock that and own it. Or like, I love just drawing a nice bath and just spending the night in or binge watching TV shows for a couple of hours or, you know, whatever it is you want to do, but do it in a state of gratitude. Don't do it in a way that's going to feel sad to you. You know, realize that you're doing this because you choose to do this for yourself. Because you're taking care of yourself. And on the top side, because I get or start your own meetup group. There's tons of them out there, especially if you live in one of the major cities. Just for single women in their 20s and 30s, that you can connect with like-minded people and just go out and have fun.
Yeah, totally. It's really great advice. Thank you so much for talking with me about this. And I know you have a free webinar going on right now for self-love especially. Do you want to talk about that?
Yeah, so right now I have this free webinar that I'm giving out called my Body Love Harmony Map System. So this is more specifically on kind of the aspect of self-love around body and image. And it kind of gives you some tangible tips here on weight loss and just feeling better, you know, getting improved energy. It doesn't even have to be weight loss, but just eating better, taking better care of yourself, but also embracing yourself and embracing who you are, because no change that we make is ever going to stick if we don't have this core foundation of self-love. So you can check out that webinar. I give some great tips in here, and you'll have the opportunity to sign up for my membership program through that, where you'll get some really awesome trainings around self-love, as well as a support community and group coaching calls. So this is a great option as well.
Very cool. And what's the website to sign up?
So I'm sorry, to get the webinar, just head over to crazywildlove.com. Okay. And you'll see it right there on the homepage, and you can sign up.
Sounds awesome. I'm definitely going to check that out. So again, thank you so much for joining me. Sure. I hope you have a great Valentine's Day yourself.
Thank you, Tammy.
Yeah, I will talk to you later.
All right, thanks a lot.
Thank you. So thank you so much for tuning in, guys. This is Cami from Sensual Appeal. You can check out my blog at sensualappealblog.com. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel by clicking here. Happy Valentine's Day! Rock it!